Hello, beautiful people. It's Lulu. There is something I'm really curious about, and I'd like to ask you all. When was the last time someone gave you their full attention? Not their half attention while they're scrolling through their phone, not their divided attention while mentally running through their to-do list, not while they were speaking to you over the phone and multitasking at the same time. I'm talking about giving you their complete, undivided attention. And when was the last time you gave that gift to someone else, or even to yourself? Welcome back to the Lulu Essey podcast, where we do things differently. No editing, no polish, just honest conversations that offer you practical tools to transform your life from the inside out. We just came off Thanksgiving here in the US, and as I'm recording this, the holiday season is in full swing. Decorations are up, trees are everywhere, and I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who are starting to think about gifts. And if you don't celebrate, this is still for you, because I am sure there are times when you are involved in gift giving or receiving. I love giving gifts. I really do. There's something beautiful about finding that perfect thing for someone I love, wrapping it up and then seeing their face when they open it. And on the flip side, I adore receiving gifts. It doesn't matter what's inside. The act itself makes me happy. And I'm always taken aback that someone took the time to think about me when they bought the gift. But today I want to talk about a different kind of gift list. Not the kind of curated lists that celebrities dish out on social media. The kind of lists recommending $2,000 products that most of us can't afford. And honestly, who needs gemstones for places I won't mention on this podcast? Okay. Not all the gifts they curate are exorbitant. But you get my vibe here. So this is my curated gift list for this season. And here's what makes it different. Every one of these gifts requires very little financially, and in most instances, they cost nothing, $0. They do require something much more valuable. They require you to be present. They require us to give of our most precious resources, our time. And in this time, we are asked to be fully present, 100% in the moment and focused on the person you are giving the gift to. Before we get going, gift this episode right now to the people in your life who might be feeling the pressure of gift giving. Maybe they're stressed about the money, or they're overwhelmed by expectations, or they just want to show love in a different or more meaningful way. Share this as an invitation to think differently about what it means to give. Let's be real about where we are right now. It's early December. The pressure is on. Almost every email, every ad, social media post is telling us what we should buy, how much we should spend, and what will secretly prove we really love the people in our lives. And I'm not here to shame anyone about material gifts. Gift giving is literally a love language for some people, and thoughtful material gifts can be incredibly meaningful. A carefully chosen book, a piece of jewelry that reminds someone you were listening, a sweater in their favorite color, tickets to see a show they have wanted to see. These can be beautiful expressions of love. What I want to talk about is the escalation trap. You know what I mean by this. Where gifts get bigger every year, when relationships seem to get measured by price tags, where we start believing that love can be quantified by how much we spend. Added to this is our outsourcing of our expressions of love to buying gifts, taking a shortcut, because we can't be bothered. We're stressed, we're short of time, and it feels so much easier to just make a purchase. And somewhere along the way, we've forgotten about the gifts that actually change relationships. The ones that don't come wrapped in paper, but come wrapped in presence, in attention, in genuine care. So here's my contribution to the gift guide industrial complex. These are mostly free, and every single one of them will shift a relationship in your life in a meaningful way. And here's the first gift on my list: your full, undivided attention. And before you think, well, obviously, let me ask you, when was the last time you gave someone an hour or 2 hours of completely undivided attention? Phone away, notifications off, not planning what you're going to say next while they're talking. Just being fully present. Here's what I mean practically. Invite one friend over for coffee or tea. No agenda, no multitasking, just 2 hours of being with them. Or schedule a Zoom call with that family member overseas. Not for a big group celebration, just one-on-one time to really connect. And here's what's fascinating from a neuroscience perspective. When we give someone our full attention, we're not just being polite. We're actually creating neurochemical changes in both our brains. Research shows that oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, acts as what scientists call an attentional modulator. It increases the salience of social information, which is a fancy way of saying it helps us focus on what really matters in connection. When we're truly present with someone, oxytocin is released, and it literally changes where we direct our attention. Studies have shown that it increases the amount of time we spend looking at someone's eyes, which is the most important area for reading emotion. So when you give someone your full attention, you're creating the biological conditions for real connection for both of you. Ask yourself, when was the last time you gave yourself your own full attention? Not scrolling or multitasking, just being with yourself. When was the last time you gave someone you love the gift of your full, undivided attention? That is worth noticing. The second gift is remembering. Not just, how are you doing? But remembering. I'm talking about the kind of remembering where you heard something 6 months ago that they love. You heard them say they love yellow roses, or that they've always wanted to try pottery, and then you actually do something with this information. This is the gift of being witnessed. Proof that you were present enough in someone's life to catch the small things they might not even remember saying. Here's what this looks like in practice. Follow up on something they mentioned weeks ago. You said you had a difficult conversation with your boss. How did it go? Or acknowledge a hard anniversary that others might have forgotten. Or recreate a small moment they mentioned loving. Not the exact thing, but the feeling of it. The neuroscience here is beautiful. Our brains process being remembered very differently than just being noticed in the moment. When someone shows they've held us in their mind, when they've carried us with them beyond our physical presence, something shifts in how we feel connected to them. And here's what I love about this gift. It might require you to sit down and really think, to reach back in your memory and ask, What did they tell me about themselves? What did I actually hear? That effort is part of the gift. The remembering itself is the gift. And then you follow through with the action. I'd like to ask you, would you be willing to receive this gift if it was offered to you? Because we can't just be givers. Receiving is the other side of giving. We need both. The third gift is your presence in someone else's hard moment, not your fixes, not your advice, not your need to make it better, just your presence. And with your presence, you offer them the gift of your time. I'll make this really practical because I think this is where we can get stuck. If you have a friend or a family member who's overwhelmed right now, and let's be honest, who isn't a little overwhelmed in December? And you can afford the time in your schedule. And it's okay if you have to make a small sacrifice. Remember, we are talking about someone you love who is having a really hard time. Here's what this gift looks like. Say to that person, I'd love to give you 3 hours. You choose how I use them. Choose whatever is most helpful to you right now. Choose what would bring you some relief. Do you want me to come and clean your apartment? Do you want me to take care of the kids so you can have a break? Do your grocery shopping? Organize something that you can't find the time for? Do you want me to handle your gift shopping? You decide. I'll do whatever helps. Notice what's powerful about this. You're not imposing your idea of help. You're giving them agency within your offer. You're making it specific, concrete, doable. Not, let me know if you need anything, which all that does is put the burden back on them. But rather you say, I have 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. What would actually help? And here's where the science gets really compelling. Research on what's called social buffering shows that when we're accompanied in difficulty, our stress response literally changes. Studies have found that receiving support from someone close to us, even just knowing they're there, can significantly reduce cortisol, the stress hormone, in our bodies. The key finding is this: our physiological stress response is different when we're struggling and someone is present versus struggling alone. Social support lowers our stress reactions. We regulate better when we're not isolated. Being accompanied in difficulty affects our biology differently than being alone in it. So when you show up for someone in their hard moment, not to fix, just to be present, you're changing their stress physiology. You're literally helping their nervous system regulate. That's not small. That's profound. That's a gift so worth giving and equally worth receiving. When someone offers to sit with you in your struggle, can you let them? Can you allow yourself to be supported and loved? Can you give the other person the gift of supporting you? Are you able to receive this gift? Allow that question to sit with you for a bit and see what comes up in your stillness. The fourth gift on my list is what I call the gift of fun, or recreating a good time. And come on, many of us already know how to do this. And I'm inviting you to do this with intention. This is about recreating a feeling. It's not so much about going back to an exact place or repeating an exact experience. Think about a time when you and a friend or a loved one were genuinely happy. Maybe you laughed so hard, your stomach ached and you almost wet yourself. Maybe you felt completely free, like time had suspended and nothing else mattered for those few hours. When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you engineered an experience specifically to get back to that feeling? We seem to have somehow decided that responsible adults don't prioritize fun, that joy is frivolous, especially when we have so many adult things to take care of, that if we're not being productive and ticking things off our endless to-do list, we're wasting time. But giving someone or yourself the gift of planned, protected, intentional fun is actually revolutionary. Here's what's happening in your body during those moments of genuine joy and play. Research from the Heart Math Institute shows that when we experience uplifting emotions like joy, appreciation, and love, our heart rhythm pattern becomes what's called coherent. It becomes highly ordered, looking like a smooth, harmonious wave, rather than the jagged, irregular pattern we see during stress. When we're in this coherent state, our autonomic nervous system synchronizes. Our body's systems operate with more efficiency and harmony. And here's what's beautiful about this coherent pattern. It facilitates higher cognitive function. It creates emotional flexibility and enhances our capacity for social connection. In other words, when you create space for fun, for joy, for play with someone you love, you're not being frivolous. You're creating physiological coherence that affects both your well-being and theirs. Those moments of suspended time, of genuine laughter, of feeling free, they're not just nice, they're changing your biology in ways that support your health, your thinking, and your ability to connect. So, what would it look like to gift someone an experience designed purely for joy? Not productive joy, not accomplishment joy, just play. Before we wrap up, I'd like to come back to something I mentioned with these gifts: receiving. Because here's what I've noticed. We escape ourselves through giving. We're really good at giving gifts to others, but we deflect when those gifts are offered to us. I'm talking here about the gifts of attention, of an offer to help, of a compliment, of kind words of support. We are so good at deflecting these gifts. The person who always accepts an invitation, the person who never accepts an invitation, the one who always asks others how they are, but deflects or changes the subjects when they asked, the person who can't let anyone else be there for them, can't let anyone in enough to support them. That imbalance is not generosity, it's protection. These gifts, attention, remembering, presence in hard moment, fun, they only work really powerfully if we're willing to both give and receive them. So maybe the question isn't just, who can I give these gifts to? But am I willing to receive them when they're offered? If someone offers you their full attention and you deflect, if someone asks you what you need and you say, "Oh, nothing, I'm fine." If someone tries to create some fun and you say you're too busy, you're blocking the gift and you're blocking the connection. In that moment, you are not willing to receive. And before we close, when was the last time you gave yourself these gifts? Your own full attention, just being with yourself, remembering what you love, not what you're supposed to love. Being present with yourself in your own hard moments instead of pushing through. Giving yourself permission to have fun without earning it through productivity. I'm not saying you have to do this before you can give to others. This is not about prerequisites. I'm giving you an invitation to notice. Are you willing to give yourself what you're willing to give others? Because often we're not. And that's really worth paying attention to. That is worth noticing and sitting with. Beautiful people, this is my gift guide for the season. 4 gifts that cost nothing or very little financially, but require you in terms of presence, in terms of your time. The gift of full attention, the gift of remembering, the gift of your presence in hard moments, the gift of fun. You might still buy the sweater or the book that they mentioned. Do what feels right. And maybe you could also give these gifts. Maybe you could add them to your list. Maybe you could show up for someone in a way that changes their biology, not just their bookshelf or their wardrobe. And maybe, just maybe, you could let someone give these gifts to you. If this episode shifted something for you about what it means to give and receive, gift this to 3 people, people who might be feeling the holiday pressure, people who want to love others fully without the financial stress, people who need permission to prioritize presence over presence. Give them the gift of this episode. Follow the show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen, and please leave me a review. You can also watch this episode on my YouTube channel and hit subscribe when you're there. Next week, I'll be back with another episode to support you in this crazy, beautiful, messy, and often chaotic life. Remember, you don't have to have all the answers. We never do. Just keep showing up for yourself and the people you love with presence. And as always, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And today, with gratitude for your willingness to think differently about giving and receiving, this comes straight from my heart to yours.